Burkina Faso has launched a treasury bank. I don't think that some folks might understand the gravity of that. The gravity of that. Because this is the first time in that country's history that they've actually had their own treasury. So this means that they now have control over their finances directly. It's the first time it's happened. And shockingly, this is a country that is a gold is its main major export. It's a gold producing country. The fact that it's never had its own gold reserve, it's not had its own treasury, is absolutely ridiculous. The fact that that's never happened, the fact that it's taken this long for them to be in this position is crazy. But here we are. The thing about it is that this is only the beginning, and it's Captain Traoré. For those people who do not know, Captain Traoré is the new president of, well, he's been president now for almost 2 years, but he's the president of Burkina Faso, and he's made a lot of major moves, This is one of the biggest moves he's made, and it has flown completely under the radar. This didn't just happen now. It happened like, I think 2 months ago when it officially launched, I believe 2 or 3 months ago. This has gone completely under the radar. Now, the reason why this is so important is because of what it's setting a foundation for. Pay attention. Here is the Back to Africa Handbook, a 60-page simple guide to jumpstart your plans to visit or move to Africa. It covers everything from advice on travel, accommodation, cost of living, healthcare, safety, schools, citizenship pathways, and my personal tips as a native African. It's released on October 1st as a digital ebook direct from me to your inbox with a 50% discount for those who sign up now. The link is in my profile bio wherever you're watching this. Burkina Faso is one of the countries that uses the CFA Franc. I don't know if you guys are aware of what the CFA Franc is, but if you're not, I strongly advise you to go and watch the Franc Zone on my channel, how France secretly controls 14 West African countries, or secretly controls West Africa. Go and watch that video, or if you're on my newsletter, linked in the description, go and read the article that I wrote about the CFA Franc. The CFA Franc is a post-colonial monetary system set up by France that pretty much all the ex-French colonies have been forced to use post-World War II. The CFA Franc also formed the foundation upon which France was able to finance itself and rebuild itself. I won't go into all the details during this broadcast, but you can go and listen to it. You can go and watch it and understand exactly what the CFA Franc is. One of the first things that any West African nation, which is a Francophone nation, would want to do if they want to have any level of autonomy is to get rid of the CFA Franc. There are a lot of countries that try to do this. Guinea, Secretary, I talked about in that video, who met a sticky end when he tried to do it. You know, they played him out. Silvio Limpio, he tried to do the same thing, played him out. Everybody who has tried to get away from the CFA Franc has got played out. Everybody will say, well, France didn't directly. Isn't it a funny coincidence that somehow anybody that has tried to do this thing has miraculously been unalived and removed, but France had nothing to do with it? Of course not. They're completely innocent. So therefore, when you see what this man is doing now and the moves that he's making, you think of what Thomas Sankara tried to do because he wanted to get away from the CFA Franc. You understand the gravity of these moves. He's doing what his predecessors tried to do and were unable to do. That's what Ibrahim Traoré is trying to pull off. Guys, we're in the middle of history, people. We are in the midst of African history, for those people who are not aware of what's happening. We're in the midst of it. We are living through a time that our ancestors dreamed of. When I say ancestors, not all of them, but those who were actually trying to create a level of autonomy for the continent. They dreamed of it, but they were not able to achieve it. We might achieve it in our lifetime. No, not might. We will achieve it in our lifetime. Will, not might. All that matters is that all hands are on deck. All that matters is that I'm doing shows like this to inform the community of what is going on. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. Like, as long as you're informed and you are keeping your ears to the ground, you're keeping your hands to the millstone. To the millstone. See my hands? As long as you're keeping your hands to the millstone, we're going to be okay. It's when you take your eyes off the ball that we have issues. It's when you take your eyes off the ball. And believe me, eyes are all over the place right now. There's a lot of distractions trying to sway people from what they should be focusing on. Captain Traore has started a treasury bank in Burkina Faso. Captain Traore has started a treasury bank in Burkina Faso. This is the first step to getting out of the CFA Franc. Because the next thing that's going to happen, they're going to have their own currency. They're not going to be using CFA anymore. They'll have their own currency. What is the next thing that's going to happen after that? Burkina Faso is going to go to Sahel Alliance and say, you know what? We need our own currency for the alliance, like the euro. You see, Europe has been doing this for decades. They have the euro. They have the European Union. Why don't we have our own currency for the whole union? Why does the OAU not have a currency? Why does ECOWAS not have a currency? Yes, we're supposed to be a legitimate economic bloc. How can you be an economic bloc and have no currency? How are you an economic bloc of oil-producing countries and have no currency? With multiple countries in OPEC, but have no currency. Countries that are in Europe that do not produce any raw materials, no minerals, no nothing, they have currency. Euro. Where's the African currency? Don't worry, Sahel Alliance is going to correct that omission. They will correct it. That's the reason why the Treasury Bank matters. It's a signifier because all of these other countries in Sahel who do not have their own treasury, do not have their own gold reserve like Mali, are going to look at this and be like, how do we not have a gold reserve when we are a gold producer? How do we not have a treasury bank? And then when everybody gets their banks, their own treasuries, have their own things, their own reserves, they will start looking at countries like Nigeria and say, what are you doing? 44 minerals at commercially viable levels in that country known as Nigeria. 44. Not 4. 44. Not 14. 44. Go and look it up. Check it up. Check it up. Check it up. Check it up right now. Go and check it. 44. What are we doing? There are countries that are rich off one. They are rich off one. We have 44 of it. We are messing around. Burkina Faso is going to explain to people how this is done. These guys are going to explain to folks how this is done. That's the reason why it's a big deal, people. That's the reason why it's a big deal. I'm not kidding. That's why I'm on the airwaves. You see, these shows that I'm doing are not for fun and games. These are not fun and games shows because people think that we come on the air here and we're just playing around. We're not playing around. Do I sound like I'm kidding? I'm not. This is serious. Because you need these guys you need this to be successful because it is the precursor for everything that is going on in that region of Africa, including Nigeria. You need these guys to be successful. That's the reason why I say it's not fun and games. That's why I'm saying that it needs to turn into the Sahel Alliance financial, their money. Which brings me on to point number 2. Why is the mainstream media silent on the Sahel Alliance?